Hello students, this is Vijaya Janardhan Ushir, working as an assistant professor in Department of Chemistry at Maratha Vidya Prasarak Samaj, Nasik. In the last video lecture, we have studied the irreversible and reversible work of expansion. In this video lecture, we will study the work done in adiabatic expansion. So, what is the adiabatic expansion? You may have studied the adiabatic processes. So, adiabatic processes are the process in which there is no exchange of heat between system and surrounding. So, what happens for the work done in adiabatic expansion of an ideal gas? So it is also called as a reversible expansion. So this we will study in this lecture. So in adiabatic changes, the system does not change the energy with surrounding. So because the name indicates that adiabatic means it does not change the energy with the surrounding. Therefore we can say that the energy change is zero. Therefore dq is equal to 0. And we know that according to first law of thermodynamics, so what is the equation of first law of thermodynamics? You may studied at the TYBSc level. dq is equal to dE plus dW. So dq is the change in heat or heat energy is equal to change in internal energy plus the work done. So how this equation changes? If dq is equal to 0 for the adiabatic process, we can write dE is equal to minus dW. This is called as equation 1. So this means that the all work done is as the expense of internal energy, means dW, this all work done is only happens as the expense of internal energy of the system. So this all work done is only happens as the expense of internal energy of the system, and the internal energy also decreases from E to dE. So this internal energy E changes from E to dE, and dW is equal to, we know that work done, how we can write the equation for the work done? Work done, that is dW is equal to P into dV. This is called as equation 2. Therefore, we write this equation as PdV is equal to minus dE. This from equation 2, from equation 1, we can write PdV is equal to this dW is the identical. Therefore, we can write PdV is equal to minus dE. And we know that what is the change in internal energy? We have studied in the last lecture that what is the specific heat capacity at constant pressure and what is the heat capacity at constant volume. So, what was the CV? CV was the change in internal energy or enthalpy with respect to temperature. Therefore, we can write PdV is equal to minus dE is equal to minus CV into dt. So, what is this CV? CV is the change in heat capacity at constant volume. So, the ideal gas must obey the equation of state, that is PV is equal to nRT. Therefore, for 1 mole of a gas, how we can write the equation? Therefore, for 1 mole, P is equal to RT upon V. This is called as equation 3. As we know that P into dV is equal to minus CV into dt. Therefore, we can write P is equal to minus CV into dt upon dV. This is called as equation 4. So, if we rearrange this equation, P is equal to minus CV into dt and this dV gets divided, and this is called as equation 4. And from equation 3 and 4, this 3 and 4, how we can write? Minus CV into dt. So, this P are the same. Therefore, we can write minus CV into dt is equal minus CV into dt upon dV is equal to RT upon V. Therefore, how we can write the equation? Minus CV into dt is equal to RT upon V, and this dV it's divided here and goes here to gets multiplied. Therefore, minus CV into dt is equal to RT upon V into dV. So, if we rearrange this equation, what we got? Minus CV upon RT. This RT is multiplied here and it's become divided. So, minus CV upon RT into dt is equal to dV upon V. So, if we only rearrange this equation, minus CV upon RT into dt is equal to dV upon V. Therefore, the integrating the equation within the limits from V1 to V2, that is volume change, and temperature change from T1 to T2. So what we got from volume V1 to V2, dV upon V, integration from V1 to V2, dV upon V is equal to minus Cv upon R, which are the constant, into integration of T1 to T2 dt upon T. So what is the integration of 1 upon V? It is ln of V. And what are the limits from V1 to V2? And minus Cv upon R. This is the integration of 1 upon T. 1 upon T, that is ln of T. Therefore, we can write ln of T is equal to integration from T1, limits from T1 to T2. Therefore, if we put upper limit minus lower limit, we can write this equation as ln of V2 minus V1. Therefore, we can write ln V2 minus ln V1 in the form of ln of V2 upon V1 minus Cv upon R into ln of T2 upon T1. ln T2 minus ln T1 can be written in the form of ln of T2 upon T1 by the rules of logarithm. Therefore, how we can write the equation? So, ln of V2 upon V1 is equal to, if we change this T2 upon T1 into T1 upon T2, therefore this negative gets cancelled, negative and this negative. Therefore, we can write ln of V2 upon V1 is equal to Cv upon R into ln of T1 upon T2. So, ln of V2 upon V1, this Cv upon R. So, by changing the, so it gets to the exponential form of T1 upon T2. It is outside the ln sign, so it goes to the Cv upon R, that is to the exponential side. So ln of V2 upon V1 is equal to ln of T1 upon T2 raised to Cv upon R. Therefore, we can write the equation for V2 upon V1. So how we can write for V2 upon V1? This ln and ln gets cancelled with each other. Therefore, we can write V2 upon V1 is equal to T1 upon T2 raised to Cv upon R. So other forms of equation can be obtained by putting the value of R. So how we put the value of R? R is equal to Cp minus Cv. So Cp is the change in heat capacity at constant pressure and Cv is change in heat capacity at constant volume. Therefore, how we can write this equation? ln of V2 upon V1 is equal to Cv upon R into ln of T1 upon T2. So, ln of V2 upon V1, Cv upon R. What is the value of R? R is the Cp minus Cv into ln of T1 upon T2. So, if we divide this, if we rearrange this equation, this Cv upon Cp minus Cv gets here. So, therefore, what happened? So, Cp minus Cv divided by Cv into ln of V2 upon V1 is equal to, what we will got? Is equal to ln of T1 upon T2. So, if we divide this Cp minus Cv by Cv, so Cp by Cv minus Cv by Cv, that is 1. Therefore, Cp upon Cv minus 1 into ln of V2 upon V1 is equal to ln of T1 upon T2. Therefore, what is the ratio of Cp upon Cv is called? Cp upon Cv is called as a gamma. So, the ratio of specific heat capacity at constant pressure to the specific heat capacity at constant volume is known as a gamma. Therefore, gamma minus 1 is equal to ln of V2 upon V1 is equal to ln of T1 upon T2. Therefore, this is the outside the gamma minus 1 is outside the integration, outside the ln. Therefore, we can write as ln of V2 upon V1 raised to gamma minus 1 is equal to ln of T1 upon T2. So, ln of V2 upon V1 raised to gamma minus 1 is equal to ln of T1 upon T2. This ln and ln gets cancelled with each other. So, what we got? V2 upon V1 is raised to gamma minus 1 is equal to T1 upon T2. So, if we rearrange this equation, we can write T2 into this T2 into V2 raised to gamma minus 1 is equal to T1 into V1 raised to gamma minus 1. So, for the adiabatic irreversible expansion, this is for the adiabatic reversible expansion. So, what will happen for the adiabatic irreversible expansion? So W irreversible is given by V1 to V2, P2 into dV. Therefore, the equation is W irreversible is equal to P2 into V2 minus V1. So, next point is the entropy of irreversible changes. The entropy change in ideal gas with temperature and pressure. So, Clausius symbolized the dq, that is change in heat energy, as S. dq upon T, change in heat energy with temperature, as S, which is called as the entropy, and it is the ratio of heat change, that is dq, to the temperature. So, entropy is the ds, that is change in entropy, is the ratio of heat change for the reversible process upon temperature. This is the equation given by the Clausius, and entropy is a state function. So always remember that entropy is a state function, depends only on initial and final state, and one cannot measure the absolute value but can measure the change. In the last lecture we have studied for the state function we can measure the absolute value, we cannot measure the definite value, but we can measure the change, that is change from initial state to final state. So next point is the entropy of irreversible changes. So what happens in an irreversible process? What happens? There occurs an increase in entropy of universe. Because the process is irreversible, there occurs the increase in entropy. So entropy is nothing but the disorderness or randomness in the system. So there is occurs increase in entropy of universe, and this is understood by considering the irreversible conduction of heat dq from body A at high temperature T1 to body B at low temperature T2. Means if a body at high temperature T1 to another body at low temperature T2, then the conduction of heat dq is considered. So this is a irreversible expansion. So what happens? Delta S irreversible is equal to dq upon T2 minus dq upon T1. Therefore, dq upon T2 is the nothing but the decrease in entropy, and dq upon T1 is nothing but the dq upon T2 is nothing but the decrease in entropy, and dq upon T1 is nothing but the gain in entropy. Therefore, how we can write this equation? dq is taken common into bracket 1 upon T2 minus 1 upon T1. So, as the conduction of heat is always from, how the conduction of heat occurs? As always from high temperature to low temperature. That is, T1 is greater than T2 because T1 is our high temperature and T2 is low temperature. So, 1 upon T2 becomes greater than 1 upon T1. This 1 upon T2 becomes greater than 1 upon T1. Therefore, we can write dq upon T2 is greater than dq upon T1. Therefore, we can write dq upon T2 minus dq upon T1 is greater than 0. Therefore, we can say that delta S, that is change in entropy for the irreversible process. This is the irreversible process, that is the conduction of heat from body A at high temperature T1 to body B at low temperature T2. Therefore, delta S irreversible is always greater than 0. So, the entropy of universe, we can say that the entropy of universe increases in the case of irreversible processes, such as, which are the different irreversible processes, such as the conduction of heat and radiation. So, these are the examples of irreversible work of expansion. Thank you.